That was freaking awesome. That was fantastic. Chip Ritter in Tucson,
Was that
Arizona.
intentional? I tried to be intentional.
You tried to be intentional. You were very intentional. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Everybody, I am Bart Robley, and you are watching Drummers Education Connection. I am here with two of my dear, dear, dear friends, Chip Ritter in Tucson, Arizona, that just played an intentional groove.
Yeah.
And Fred Rock Fisher in Boise, Idaho, where they've had hardly any snow. Oh, wait, hold on. Put up the guns again. Let me see that. Just the sound effects to that. That is so gross, man.
Hey, I mean,
that is so gross.
Where else could I get away with such shenanigans?
Exactly. Anyway, welcome to Drummers Education Connection. I almost forgot the name of the show for a minute because Fred just blinded me with the guns. And Chip, that was awesome. Guys, welcome to the show. Today, we are talking about something that Chip came up with, and I love the idea, playing with intention, playing every note like you mean. I love that. And I think it's a deep subject we're going to dive into. What we're going to do, as usual, though, is we are going to do our good things, right?
All right.
We are going to do good things before we get started. So since Fred is our guest host today, I'm going to throw it to him first. Fred, tell me what you got going on that's good, buddy.
All right. Well, my band Midline, we just released a new song and video called The Way I Know You. It came out a week ago.
Cool.
Right on.
And it's awesome. We love putting out new singles, and when we put out a new video, we've been doing the last handful we've done. We do a live watch event. So the video goes live on YouTube, and we invite our fans and friends to participate in it. And so we get this live chat discussion going while the video's happening, and it's interactive and it's a lot of fun. So that was pretty cool. And then I have two student successes I wanted to share.
Yeah.
One was my student, Evelyn, who is, I think she's 28. She's only been drumming for 2 years. Now, when she started, she had a hard time figuring out what quarter notes and eighth notes and 16th notes were. And this past fall, she did 3 different drum covers here that we recorded and filmed and edited those and put them together. Well, somebody saw a video of her playing Head Over Heels for Fears and invited her to come check out their band, which is like this Hispanic rock band. I can't remember the name of it. She'll say it and I can't get the roll of the R on my tongue right. She just laughs when I try to say it. But
the Rock and Rollers.
So she's already had like 3 or 4 gigs, and she's making money playing these shows, and she's really awesome. It's so cool to see. And she was just in Vegas last week, and she sends me this picture of a 8x14 DW stainless steel chrome snare drum. Nice. And she brought it in, and she's like, "Look what I bought." So she's putting a new drum kit together, and I said, wait a second. Whose drums are you playing when you play these gigs? And she said, well, the bass player owns the drum kit, so he brings it and sets it up and then tears it down and packs it up. So she doesn't have to do anything.
She's got a drum tech already, man.
I know. I'm like, where do I get this gig? And then my other student, Serena, she started playing about the same time, about 2 years ago, and just with the intention of playing drums in her living room. And then the youth group at her church needed a drummer. So she thought, well, maybe I could do that because it's kind of a low pressure deal. And she got really good doing that. And then she told me a few months ago, I would just like to play in a bar band, like play some blues and some classic rock stuff. And I said, okay, here's what you're going to do. So we spent the lesson making posts in the Boise Musicians page and the Idaho Blues Society page and the Idaho Musicians page that she was available to jam with people. So now twice she's gone to these blues jams where you go and you sign up to play. And over the past month, she's been making a bunch of friends. And now she's going to go just jam with some people just to see what happens.
Dude,
Nice.
that's so cool,
Yeah.
man. That is great.
Yeah.
I love hearing those stories, success stories of students, because as teachers, we love seeing the success, and we also kind of, in a selfish way, live kind of vicariously through them, you know?
Definitely.
So that's really cool, man. Good, good, good for her and good for you and all your good work that you do. That's awesome, bro. That's
It's
awesome.
exciting, man. It's
Yeah,
exciting.
very cool. Chip, what do you got going on that's good,
Well,
buddy?
man, I got a two-parter. I got one good thing is I'm here on the show with you guys today. That's my good thing is the Fred Fisher's in the house and Bart Robley and two of my favorite people in the drum world. And I'm just so excited and grateful to be on the show today with you. And then the other good thing is I think I've got the idea for my clinic for Deck Day.
Oh, cool.
I'm homing in on it, and I'm really excited about it, and I'm preparing, and I just can't wait for Deck Day. So everybody go sign up at drummersedcon.com, and we'll see you there at Deck Day.
Now, I got to tell you guys, I'm this close to buying a ticket to Deck Day.
There you go.
Trigger.
Pull the trigger.
Pull the trigger.
We've already been checking out a hotel room.
You can stay in my hotel room.
Oh, really?
If you want to.
Wow. I'll call you about that.
Okay.
I'll call you about that.
It's got room for my pony.
Wait a second.
Wait a second.
I'm going to be very careful about what I say next.
Pump the brakes right now, man.
How about you, Bart? What's going on good with you, Bart?
You know what? I've had my content and I know what I want to talk about on Deck Day. And so I've been going through my clinic and getting it ready. And so I'm excited about that. And I've been enjoying just like a little bit of downtime, not being on the road. The band's just like so busy this year. So the next couple weeks, got a week off and not off of work. I'm teaching like crazy, got a bunch of students and got a photo shoot with the band coming up next week. And life is just good. You know, life is really good. Matter of fact, Alex Soka, who was a photographer for Modern Drummer for years and years and years, and has done some amazing portraits of drummers and musicians, is going to be shooting the band. And so that's going to be really nice to work with them. It's really cool. Photo studio up in Los Angeles. So we're going to do that. So that's kind of my good thing. Just enjoying a little bit of downtime, relaxing, getting ready to go. We go to Laughlin in 2 weeks. We've got a 5-night residency in the big room at the Riverside in Laughlin. So if you happen to find yourself in Laughlin, Nevada in 2 weeks, come see us do our Turn the Page show at Don Laughlin's Riverside Entertainment Theater. It's a incredible room, and it's 5 nights. We usually sell it out 5 nights in a row. So get your tickets. Come on down. That's my good thing.
The big old paddle boat.
That was the Colorado Bell, and the Colorado Bell is at the very far end of the strip, and the Bell's been out of business now for a number of years, unfortunately. Yeah, and you know what's a bummer about it is it's this huge piece of property, and we used to like to go down there. They had a great restaurant, and we used to play the Laughlin River Run. You know, the motorcycle run.
Yeah.
The one that really famous one where the Hells Angels and the Vagos
shoot each other.
Oh, dude, that was a rough night. I tell you, that was a rough night. But we used to play. So there's a Colorado Bell, the Edgewater, the Aquarius, and then the Riverside. And we used to play out front at the Edgewater. Monster Energy Drinks would set up this gigantor stage. We used to play that every year at the River Run, and it's kind of died off. Some of those motorcycle runs have been dying down. So, but anyway, we got the 5 nights at the Riverside. It's great room, great room. Nice. We're really looking forward to that. So those are my good things. Hey, so today what we're doing, and I love this topic, play with intent. I've got so many things to say about that. But playing with intent, playing every note like you mean it, I absolutely love that. And when I sent out the thing the other day, talking about, hey, what do you guys want to talk about on the show? Chip came up with that, and I just love the idea. So, Chip, I'm going to throw it to you first. What does playing with intent mean to you? What does that say to you?
Well, when I think about playing with intent, the main thing I was thinking about was not being hesitant and not being undecisive. Playing with a commitment, with an authority, with a purpose, with a mission. Being deliberate. I talk to my students sometimes, and sometimes they're often like timid almost. And you can hear it in the way they play. And I try to think of ways to get them to understand that this is about action. This is about commitment and taking action on the drums and playing with intention, being intentional about your practice, being intentional about your notes that you're playing and executing on the drums, basically being intentional and having that in mind that you're going to commit something, that you're doing something in the moment.
Yep. Yeah.
That's awesome. Fred, what about you?
Well, I think Chip just stole my thunder.
Oh, your cha-cha.
No, there's when you play with intent, the drums sound different because your tap changes, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's not a volume thing. It's not a dynamic thing. It's like, to just springboard off of what Chip's talking about, like when you're telling your students, like I tell them, I want to believe in what I'm hearing. I want to believe in what you're doing. Like I need to feel like your soul's got to come through your body somehow to the drums.
Yeah. Well,
yeah. It's the last like month or so of shows I've watched of Deck is so much of what we're talking about today can be tied into all those other subjects you guys have had with the intention of playing. So did you mean to hit the cymbal, or did you just kind of think, I haven't hit that cymbal in a while and I need to hit it? We all know drummers like that, right? It's the 4-bar itch. Like you don't have to play a drum fill every 4 bars.
Right.
You could play a whole song just holding a groove and not hit a cymbal once.
Yep.
I'm not telling anybody not to hit cymbals, but I'm just like, sometimes you're surrounded by gear and you think you have to use it all in every song. There's no intention in that other than feeling like you have to use something. There's no purpose behind it.
Yeah, Steve Jordan is the king of that, man. You listen to Steve Jordan play it. He just that's one of his things. Sometimes I won't play a cymbal. I won't play a fill. I'm just holding the groove down, Yeah. And he's holding the pocket together for the band, I think playing with intent, years ago, I was at a rehearsal and I kind of started understanding it then. I was playing a new song. It was an original tune, but it was a new original tune, and I was maybe approaching it a little bit timidly in my mind. I was playing the drums like I meant it, but I was approaching it timidly in my mind for some reason. Maybe because whatever the reason was, I don't know, it was so long ago. But I do know that something flipped inside of me, and it was like, just play, just play.
Mm-hmm.
And about halfway through the song, I let go and I just played. And I remember, and again, this was at a rehearsal in a lockout. And I remember the bass player at the end of the song, he turned around and looked at me and goes, "Man, about halfway through the song, you really found your groove with that." And I really didn't do anything other than just play. I didn't change anything. I just kind of like, okay, I'm going to let go of maybe worry or something. It's just play it like you mean it. Say it like you mean it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, I think all 3 of us have a lot of experience and a lot of years that have molded us into who we are as drummers right now.
Right.
But for newer drummers that don't have all that experience, sometimes they're just lost on what to do. And because they're lost on what to do, they don't fully commit to playing. They might be playing, but they're not fully committed to that. So for me personally, as a teacher, I'm trying to bridge that gap for them so that they have a certain skill set and things that they can go to, that they can lean on to be able to play those things confidently. And for my student Serena, for example, that I talked about, she went and did these blues jams. I'm like, well, you got to know some classic rock drum beats.
Yep.
You never know what you're going to play till you're there signed up, and those guys all get on stage and they're all looking at each other like, what do you want to do?
Because they never turn around and ask the drummer, that's for sure.
Yeah. And so I got Serena playing some classic rock drum beats, some stuff in 6/8, and a shuffle groove.
Nice.
I'm like, those 3 things you're going to need for this blues jam. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know.
Dude, you nailed it. I tell people all the time, if you're going to a blues jam, you got to be able to hold down a solid rock groove.
Mhm.
You got to play a 6/8. You got to be able to play a shuffle, and you got to be able to sell and play a 12/8. You know,
Yeah.
And if you can, and maybe a fast boogie, ding dong ding dong ding dong ding, you know, with a 4 on the floor. If you can handle those grooves, you can navigate and fake your way through it. So okay, let's talk about that for a minute. So let's say, and this is going to dovetail into my deck day thing that I'm going to talk about. So I'm really hip on this right now. Let's say that, okay, I'm the guitar player and Fred, you're my drummer at a blues jam. And I call a song that you've never heard. I've never even heard that title before.
Yeah.
And I say, okay, it's a medium full-time shuffle. It's about 1, 2, 3, 4, bop. In we go. Now you've never played this song, right?
Yeah.
You're literally, you know, surfing on one foot. What do you do? What do you do to sell the song? What's the one thing that you have as your saving grace to sell this song and play it with intent like you mean it? You've never heard this song. You're hearing it for the first time right now. What do you do?
You have to be a great listener to the musicians around you.
Thank you.
You have to. I mean, this conversation is so great because it can go in a lot of different directions. But I always feel like my number one objective is to keep time, steady, reliable time, something the rest of the band can lean against, even if, like you said, I've never heard the song before.
Right.
But I think for us, we have that musical intuition, right? To you can feel the energy of the song start to change as it's going to move into a pre-chorus or a chorus or a solo section. There's other things that will clue you in, like everybody's body language will change a little bit. There's a dynamic shift in the band that's happening. Doesn't mean play faster, but it just, just going to keep steady time.
Yeah.
That's like the number one thing to be aware of. And being familiar with chord progressions too.
Very true. Yeah. Understanding the chord progressions you're playing or that the band is playing. Yeah. You know, is it a 1, 4, 5? What is it? You know?
Yeah. And my favorite beat is beat 1 because that's the beginning. Right. Yep. You got to hit the beginning every time.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That's like, oh, everybody's got to be hitting that together. So you got to be really listening. I think a lot of bands get up there and they're playing a song, but they're kind of in their own little cocoon. Like I picture Spinal Tap where they're those little cocoons that they're in, right? Like
pounding on it, trying to get it to open.
That's the mental picture I have. Everybody's in their own little pod and they're sort of relatively playing the song at the same time, but not together because they're just concerned about whatever they're doing. They're not really listening to what's happening around them.
You know, one of the things, yeah, you've got to listen to the musicians around you. And sometimes people will say, okay, you've got to listen to the musicians, right? You've got to hear what other people are doing. But then sometimes we're all guilty of not listening, like you say, being in your cocoon. And I think even if you've been playing in a band for a while, like, you know, if you've been playing in a group for a number of years, it's really easy to not listen to the conversation that's going on stage. So I think you always have to be in that mindset. You always have to be present. I remember, and this was a very nice compliment, but on to the point of what we're talking about. When we did Deck Day up in the Bay Area, the night before we did it, we all went and saw one of Jeremy's bands play, and Chip played a couple of songs and I played a couple of songs, and it was just fun. We got up and sat in with the band and played. And I remember the bass player was killing it. This girl was so good, man. And Chip played a couple of tunes. I don't remember who went first. I think Chip went first, and then I went up, and I played an Allman Brothers tune with them, and then all of a sudden the piano player just morphed into this other song, and he started playing it, and I no clue what the song was. I'm just watching him, and I came in, I started playing. And so I look at the piano player, and I'm looking at the bass player. I'm looking back at the piano player. I'm looking at the bass player, and I'm listening. I looked out in the audience. I looked at Jeremy, and nobody was going, nobody was doing this. I'm like, okay.
Jeremy was in
yeah, I know. Nobody was going, it seemed like I was holding it together. And at the end of the thing, the bass player goes, man, it was like we had been playing together for years. And that was a nice compliment, because I still to this day don't know what the song was. Like I got nothing. I just played with this band, and it was really cool. And what I did was what I just said, really, I listened to what they were doing, and I watched them too, to make sure for visual cues. I was very aware of the chord progression of what was going on, and just kind of try to keep the feel alive and try to create a pocket for the band to play in. And I think making the band feel that they're safe, like if you have a soloist, as corny as it sounds, if you have a soloist that's a kick-ass soloist, a guitar player or a horn player or something, and they're just going to go way outside, just hold it together for them. Just like you said, Fred, rule number 1, never lose one. There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. And let them run free,
Yeah.
Right on. We got James B. Harrison in the house. Thanks for watching, James. James says, to me, playing with intent is like driving the car versus riding in it. You have some form of control. That's a good one, James.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And David Betts says, when a drummer plays with purpose, the whole band breathes differently. Thanks, David.
Yeah.
Dave, you're right. I think it makes everybody kind of feel, I don't know, safe, because it's like, okay, this guy or girl or whoever is holding it together, and I can do my thing. I remember at the end of the day, when you're playing a song, whether it's a pop song or rock song or whatever that has lyrics to it, or if it's even an instrumental, you're kind of telling a story. And I think too many drummers get in the way of the story when they're younger, meaning like a younger drummer, when they first are thrown into that, like you said, Fred, I got to play a crash cymbal every 4 bars. I got to play a fill, or I got to show off my chops. And that's not what it's about.
They feel like they have to do every single lick that the drummer that recorded the song has to do. And they let that note for note thing stop them from really playing a feel.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I had this scenario pop up just, it'll be a week and a half ago now. So a buddy of mine who's a drummer for a band called Jukebox, and he's the band manager, and they do mostly weddings. He had to have emergency surgery on his left wrist.
Oh,
about 6 days before a gig. And he called me and asked if I could fill in for him. And they started doing this once a month live band karaoke at this really nice place in Meridian. And he said, here's the catch though. There's no set list. The singers are going to pick from a list of songs that's 150 songs long.
That's all? Just 150?
150 songs. And you got to be ready to just play whatever they pick. I'm like, well, first of all, there's no way for me to learn 150 songs in that time frame, because throughout the course of the night, you might play 30 of those. So I wasn't going to invest a lot of time into learning 150 songs to play a narrow window of those. And the whole band is on a click, and they're on cues, and they're on tracks. So there's no There's no margin of error available. No rehearsal.
Nightmare.
Okay. Now I jumped into the boiling pot of water, right? With that whole purpose of I'm keeping time. And here's how much notice you get. They chose this song, and then you hear 1, 2, ready, play, and you're just in. You're just in. Now
So
I
are
have
they paying
to
you like $3,000 for that gig? What's the deal?
No, man, you
not quite that
get
much
$50 and all the beer you can drink.
No, I did get paid very well.
Pretzels.
I did get paid very well, but it wasn't $3,000. But I have to play with intention with those songs, even though I have no idea what's coming at me. None.
Well, let me ask you, because I've been in that situation before.
Mm-hmm.
Does the click and the cues help you
Yes.
or hinder you?
For me, they help.
Me too.
Because
Chip, what about you? What do you think? Does that help or hinder?
I like if I'm gonna play to tracks and I'm gonna play to a click, I like being able to hear it and know what I'm doing. So yeah, it helps me.
Yeah. And they had on at the front center of the stage one of those confident monitors because they had the lyrics for the singers, the guest singers, to come up and so that kind of helped too, that I could kind of see that out of the corner of my eye. I could see how the verse
lyrics
and
coming down.
Yeah.
Well, so what about this? On that, let me ask this, and I don't mean to keep interrupting you, but what about feels? Right? I mean, okay, you got to. Here's your song. 1, 2, ready, play. You don't know the song. You don't know if it's a shuffle. Does it tell you if it's a 12/8? Does it do you at least get a? Okay, this is a, no. You really, so you just have to.
Now the bass player has a mic that he can talk to the crowd, but there's a switch on it, which maybe you guys have experienced before.
Yeah.
But when he steps on the switch and talks, it goes to everybody's ears.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a couple songs where he was like, okay, we're going to play this song. And then he would say, Fred, it's going to be do, 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 ba, do, 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 ba. And then lightly, I would just tap on the drums. Do, do. He's like, you got it. And then you hear 1, 2, ready, play. Do, 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 ba, do, 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 ba, And that's where that musical intuition has to kick in.
Yep.
And I can't be back there just shyly going, I'm in,
Yeah.
I got to sell it like I've been doing it the whole time.
Yeah. Deliberate, intentional.
I was sweating a lot in that gig.
I can imagine.
More than normal.
Yeah. So when this is the question that's the obvious one. Was there any point where you were just like, oh, wait a second, I'm off base here, and you would switch halfway through the tune, or did you get the hairy eyeball from anybody going, huh? Or how did it go? And if so, what did you do to correct it?
There was moments where there were breaks in the song, and the drummer John was there. He just his arms in a full cast kind of a thing, and he told me before the gig, he's like, just keep time. Even if you play through the breaks, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But if that you're playing along, and maybe if there was like a 4 count break, like 1 out, 3, 4 and back in.
Yeah.
And if I played through that the first time, I knew it was coming again. Because a lot of songs are lather, rinse, repeat, right?
Yeah, right.
With
exactly.
Some kind of maybe happening in there. So again, it's just reading the body language of everybody in the band. And now here's another little thing to navigate, is when the guest singer is up there and their phrasing starts getting weird, or they're singing slower or faster than the song.
Yeah.
You can't go with them.
Oh, at all.
They have you can't focus on what they're doing because it's just going to drive the train right off into the ditch right there. It's just not. So some of the people, you really had to ignore what was coming out of their mouth versus what I was hearing in my ear and what I needed to do. So there was that dynamic to it.
that happens in the best of bands. I mean, there's times when, maybe one of the players in the band feels the time different than the drummer feels it, or one of the guys in the band might have a tendency to rush during one part of the song or another, and you just even if you're not playing with tracks, but you're playing with a click, there again, it's kind of your job as a drummer to don't follow the guitar player. He's got to follow you. So hold him and pull him back, or push him if he's dragging, whatever, So now what about this? Let's change the Chip went away for a second. Let's change this scenario for a second, Fred. Okay. Let's say that you're talking to a high school player who is in jazz band, and he's in his second year of jazz band, third year of jazz band. He's a senior. What Chip's back?
I don't know what happened. Somebody gave the singer a tambourine and I was out.
You know what? Once the singer gets, if a backup singer gets a tambourine, I'm gone. I'm out of there. Yeah. So what do you say to a young kid who this is their first, time, like in a not a pro situation, but it's a good band. How do you talk to them about playing with intent to a young student? What do you do there?
Well, I have a student in that exact scenario that you bring up, and for those situations with the kids in high school, they know when the concert's going to be that they have to play, or the jazz festival or whatever, and we'll work on songs, and maybe it might be like you guys are probably familiar with J.W. Pepper charts.
Yeah.
For jazz band and things like that. And a lot of those you can find on YouTube. And so we'll play along to them, and we'll follow along the chart they get from school. But jazz is not rock, right? You're not pummeling the kick drum and cracking that snare on 2 and 4.
That's why I never get called for jazz gigs. Yeah, man. Take 5. Yeah, what? Sorry.
There's this word called finesse. Maybe you've heard of it.
It does not live in my vocabulary. Chip, you're muted, buddy.
Chip's muted.
We
got to unmute the Chip.
Am I still muted?
There you go. Now we can hear you. Now we can hear you.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's for me. It's still the same though. They're in charge of what's happening. They're in charge of the tempo. They're in charge of that feel, and they can't be shy about what their job is. Because the moment you're shy and you're timid, there's no like Chip brought the word up, confidence at the top of the show, and and I think maybe it was David Betts, maybe had made a comment, or a couple other people about. David said when a drummer plays with purpose, the whole band breathes differently. Yeah. So you can't be. I think when the drummer's strong, the whole band just relaxes, and if the whole band relaxes, then the whole band plays better.
Yeah, I think it was Buddy Rich that said, if you've got a great band with a mediocre drummer, you've got a crappy band. But if you got a mediocre band with a great drummer, you got a great band.
Yeah.
Or something to that intent. And I do believe that the drummer definitely sets the tone and sets the pace. So Jeremy said at one time best, I think, when we were talking about a subject matter like this, and he said, just don't play meek. So even if you're playing if you're playing jazz, you're playing something that is not, it's not a rock gig, don't play from a place of being meek, or melancholy. I mean, even if you're playing a song that's a melancholy song, you've got to sell that song as the drummer, right? Yeah. And owning it and playing it like it's part of who you are. It's an extension of you, is going to make the song come to life. It just is.
Yeah. So James is asking the question. I would have to believe that out of the 150 songs, you may have heard some of them. And if I made any cheat sheets, I did not make any cheat sheets. And out of the 32 songs I think I played that night, I knew 2 of them. Don't Stop Believing, which I could play that song in my sleep.
Dude, I've played that song so many times.
And Living on a Prayer. But a lot of it's like new stuff like Kesha, Dua Lipa. I'm spacing on even some of the artists that are out, like in a world of stuff I don't really even listen to. Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you know what? See, that to me is a sign of a pro musician. When you're called upon to play a song that this is not even in my wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. I don't play this kind of music, you know? And sometimes with music like that, and now I'm stepping into a different area, but some of those artists don't even have drummers. It's all, programmed drums and stuff. So now as a player, I have to sell a part that doesn't even exist as a real drum part, and that's our job. That's what we do. And again, I think it's just don't be meek about it. Play it like you mean it. Yeah. And a moment ago, Fred, you kind of mimicked the bass player. Go, okay, here's your groove, whatever it was, right? Yeah. And I love cues like that because I say to all of my students, if you can say it, you can play it. I mean, I've been saying that since I was in high school. If you can say it, you can play it. So if somebody gives you a count or they hum the groove to you, well, okay, I can pull that off. And then you've got a click to hold on to, and you've got cues, chorus 2, 3, 4. I think that's great. So within this conversation, to anybody who sees this, who's listening to this, do yourself a favor and practice with a click. Okay. If you get an opportunity, and a great place to do this is on worship teams. If you get an opportunity to play with a band that has cues and has count-ins and has a click, do it. It's going to be super scary the first time, but do it because it's, trial by fire. You've got it. In today's world, as a professional musician, you're going to be called upon to do that sort of stuff. I have a question in regards to your drum kit, Fred, that speaks for playing meekly. On the what's the band you play with? The Fred Miller. Who's the guy?
Cliff Miller.
Cliff Miller. Okay. And I saw a picture that you posted the other day, and you've got, looks like a big 26 over to the side or something. Is it a 26?
It is. Yeah.
Okay. So that's not for the faint of heart. I mean, I've got a couple of 26s, and those bark at you pretty good. Where do you use that, and what do you use it for? What's the purpose of that?
So the purpose of that drum is I have it tuned like a symphonic or orchestral type big bass drum that you would play with a mallet. So I have on the resonant head, I have a single medium ply Aquarian head with I think it's a 6-inch port on the front.
Okay.
And then I have on the batter side the modern vintage.
Yeah.
Drum head that kind of looks like calfskin sort of a
deal,
and no muffling in the bass drum. And I play it with a Vader big, huge, fuzzy bass drum beater.
Cool.
So when I play it, I'm just kind of feathering that, and it just has this big boom to it. There's almost no attack to it. So it just kind of wraps the room in this big, warm, hugging blanket.
And so I use drum blanket.
Yes, and I use that on more mellow songs where I'm playing like a rim click sort of deal on the snare, and just more of the softer moments of the show. Yeah.
That's really cool, and I can imagine that's not something that you, even though it's what you just described, a slower song, that's not a meek thing. That's play that with intent.
Yeah. And there's I might have trouble describing the exact technique I would use to play that, but I'm not gingerly approaching the bass drum.
Right.
Even though that's kind of the sound I need from it, I have to be very intentional of how my foot moves so that the beater moves in a certain way to create that sound. Because if I lay into it and bury the beater in the head, I'm not going to get the same sound I want from that
Right.
drum.
Right.
It's not going to pull the sound out of the drum.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I have a Audix D6 that I stick in there, and those mics are, as you guys know, are very easy to use, and it represents the sound that I need from that drum.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
That's excellent. And I think that, and I mean, this can go into a technique conversation as well. I never play beater in. I don't, no matter what I'm playing, I think about an old paddle ball, dung, 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 and the head is the paddle and the beater is the ball. And I bounce the beater off the drum. That's the way I play. So I can imagine playing that the way you're describing it would be, that would be cool. When I knew that you were going to be the guest host on the show, and then I saw that picture of your kit, I was like, oh, I've got to work that in, because just seeing it and going, sometimes it's hard to tell in a picture, but I'm like, if he's playing a 22, that's definitely a 26.
Yeah.
So I know he's not playing a 20 and that's a 24. That's definitely a 26. And what's he using it for? Something like that is, it's not for the faint of heart. You gotta play it like you mean it.
And I just use that for more of a specialty show, which that was when we're doing more of the covered kind of gig stuff. I don't bring that with me. There's no room for it, for starters.
Yeah.
Because that takes up I take up a lot of real estate.
Don't be shy about it, man.
Lots of real estate.
Yeah.
Hey, so Chip, I got a question for you. I'm going to circle back to that night that we played up there with Jeremy's band before Deck Day up at the in the Bay Area. You played a shuffle. I don't remember what the song was, but you played a really great shuffle, and you were really selling that feel. And you were playing with a ton of ghost notes and very, very Bernard Purdy-ish, the way you were playing.
Yeah.
It was very Purdy-ish. I mean, it's really easy when you start talking about shuffles to go, oh, it's kind of Picard. You were playing, it was like listening to Purdy. You crushed it.
Thanks,
How
man.
you bet. How do you play those ghost notes, those little whispers? How do you play those with intent?
With intent? Well,
yeah. How do you do it? That's hard to do.
I think it's listening to the sum of all the sound at the same time. It's trying to listen to the whole thing and seeing if I got enough salt and pepper in there. You know what I mean? I'm just listening to the whole culmination of it, and does it fit? And if it doesn't fit, then I lighten them up a little bit. If it's not enough, then I put a little more heat on them.
Yeah.
That's how I play them, with intention.
I know. And now this comes into, I've got to throw this in there, with that. The instrument that we play has a lot to do when it comes to playing ghost notes, right? How successful you can be doing them. Like right now.
Well, the way the snare's tuned had a lot to do with it too. Yeah,
totally. So the tuning and the drum, right? And I know he had that Brooks drums kit that night, and it was well tuned. It wasn't too high, and had a nice medium tuning, if I remember correct. He was playing with the modern vintage heads, as you were talking about, Fred, and it was a wooden shell snare drum. So a wooden shell snare drum is going to be, you're going to be able to get a nice warm sound out of it. Now, I'm a fan of metal shell snare drums, so aluminum, brass, chrome over steel, what have you. Right now on my drum kit right here in the studio, I've got a 5 1/4 inch wood hoop Black Beauty, and that drum is like a thoroughbred racehorse of volume. It's just a loud drum, right? It's loud. And if you're sitting in with the band and you're playing with intent and you're trying to sell the song, you're trying to sell the piece, and there's a drum like that on the kit, and you got to play some of those ghost notes, what do you do, Chip?
Well, I'm gonna use my ears as much as I can and try to balance out the sound of whatever result I'm getting. If I'm playing ghost notes and they're not too ghosty, I'm gonna try to pull back a little bit. If I'm playing ghost notes and they're not coming through, I'm going to try to get them there. You know, the ghost notes are another art form in itself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, being able to make something there, be there that's not, but that's not, but it is, but it's not, but it is.
Yeah.
You know, that's a whole art form in itself, being able to play those with dynamics.
Would ghost notes be what you would consider accidentals?
I know that Picaro described them. Yeah.
No, I know, but it's like it's I don't mean like they happen by accident. Dang it. I lost my train of thought.
Well, I think I know where you're going with it. Picaro used to talk about how ghost notes, it was almost like he was accidentally playing them, or he just wasn't playing. It's a hum, you know, and it's a snare drum is a loud instrument. I don't care what kind of drum it is. It's hard to play a snare drum quiet. And that's why my question, because honestly, Chip, you played it so well. You did it. Thanks, so man. Well. It's like, you know,
it's always been tricky to me. I've always struggled with that, and it's something that I work on. Yeah. That's probably why it came off pretty good, is because I played it with intent, and I was intentional about my practice, making sure that the ghost notes were back there, lying down here, and that the snare, the attack of the snare on 2 and 4, or 3 if you're doing a halftime, was up here, and making sure that volume difference is maintained.
Yeah. One of the things that I do in my practice time for ghost notes, or grace notes, as James just said, is I literally will sit at my kit for a few minutes and I just play triplets. So right, left, right, right, left, right, right. So I'm playing a shuffle, and I try to play on that drum too. I'll play, you know, on a loud drum, and I'll just try to just touch the snare drum and really work on that, you know, just work on that little, just the touch of the drum. I also think, you know, like totally geeking out on something like that and playing with intent on ghost notes, grace notes, making sure the tips of your sticks aren't all chewed up. You know, if they are, throw them on the floor, grab another pair, play a good, you know, whatever tip you use on your sticks. If they're chewed up, that's going to affect the sound, you know. So
yeah, it is.
So when you're playing,
especially on the cymbals too.
Oh, completely. Yeah. So anyway, I thought those two things kind of worked nicely because they were polar opposites. You got Fred with this gigantic 26-inch kick drum, and then Chip over playing these nice little ghost notes. You know, the cavernous difference between those two things. How do you play that with intent? You know, because it'd be easy to overdo it or underdo.
How do you play something quietly with intent?
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
I tend to try to get my students to play loud from the beginning and not to be timid when they hit the drum.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the physicality of what they're going to do is going to be better. And then once they have that, then I start working on dynamics.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Okay, so when you're working on dynamics with students, do you just work on the dynamics on drum set, or do you like, okay, here's a snare drum etude and it has a lot of dynamics in it? Do you do both? How do you work?
I do both. We do a lot of pad work too.
Yeah.
A lot of work.
Yeah. I think pad work really, you know, pad work is so incredibly important. You know, a lot of people forget that, you know, that they just want to set at the drum set. I like that what you said though, Fred, getting students to play loud from the beginning, because it's easy to be timid. You know, you sit down to play and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so loud. Well, yeah, it's supposed to be. Let it rip.
And I'm sure you guys also have students that have digital kits at home.
Yeah.
And one thing that I've been stressing recently, because I have so many students that have, you know, some Elises or Roland or whatever, is the physical activity they're putting in the drum needs to be reflected in what they hear in their ears. So if they're
say that again.
So if Well, because you could take an electronic drum kit and turn the volume up, right? And you could just
Yeah.
be tapping lightly. You could
Yeah.
be going like this, but it sounds like in their
Yeah.
ears, right? I'm like, I want the volume of what you hear in your ears to match the physicality you're putting into the instrument on the
Yeah.
digital kit.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes they get a false sense of that. It's out of balance when they come in here, because at home it sounds like they're playing in an arena, but as soon as they get here and they start actually hearing loud drums, they play quiet suddenly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause they're
most
used
of
to
my
having-
kids that play electronic kits often beat the hell out of the hi-hat when they come in. And there's like an inverse proportion to the volume levels on their right hand.
that happens too. Yeah. That whole feel and the sound that they're getting is different.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
One of the things about playing an E-kit on a pro gig, because there's a place over here that we play out from time to time, and you have to play on. It's a very nice kit. It's one of the top end Roland kits, and it's the sounds are good and everything, but playing dynamically on an electronic kit that's not yours, it's not just completely tweaked in, that's tough, man. So in that case, what I do is I as it goes against every grain of everything I do, I don't play with dynamics when I play on the E-kit. It's like, okay, I know we're normally quieter here, guys, but if I play quieter, it's going to go away or it's going to miss trigger. So I just play. And again, play with intent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, deliberate.
Definitely.
You know what? James makes a good point. One should study with an orchestral symphony professional. You know what? 100% correct. I had the great opportunity to study with Robert Slack from the Pacific Symphony Orchestra. He was on the show. Go watch his episode if you're seeing this for the first time. I learned so much from him about dynamics and the precision of the strokes and everything. It was so eye-opening. So yeah, definitely, James, you nailed it. You nailed it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Have any of you guys ever done that? Done any kind of orchestral type of stuff?
I did in high school.
Yeah, same. I outside of high school, but I was still in high school. The town I grew up in had a citywide orchestra or symphony type band that they had, and I would go and play with them occasionally. I would mostly for timpani. This is back when I could read pitch percussion pretty well. I could still play the marimba and things like that. So I would go and fill in the holes sometimes with that, but ever since then, no.
Okay, I think that, but James, you're right. I do think that it's a different animal. That's for sure, man. It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
Right on. All right. So one last question. We would be remiss if we didn't talk about this. Playing with intent in the studio. Okay. We've just got a few minutes here, so we're going to make this quick. Fred, give me a 1-minute breakdown on playing with intent in a recording session.
I probably don't approach it that much different than playing live. I of course the style of song is going to dictate what you do and how hard you're going to hit and everything. But I have my own recording set up here all the time, right?
Yeah.
And I've got the producer on the other side of the glass, and she's very hard to work for sometimes. But it's like for recording, like you got to be careful not to over smash the cymbals, right? Because that can wreck the mix just playing the cymbals too hard. But I'm a real lyric conscious person. And so if I know what the lyrics are saying and what the intent of the lyrics are, that helps me formulate what I'm going to play to help support what's happening lyrically.
Perfect.
And that's my approach to it. So if I know what the song is about, that gives me some kind of visual imagery in my mind, and then I can help support that lyric through what I play.
You're helping to paint the picture. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chip, what about you, bud?
Well, I was just going to say exactly what Fred's talking about. Knowing the song is the more comfortable I am with the song and the execution of it, it's going to come secondary. I know what I'm going to do if I know where the song's going and what the song's about and where the song ebbs and flows and when I'm supposed to back it up more and when I'm supposed to dial it back a little bit. How about you, Bart?
It's I come at it from a little bit different standpoint because I've done a lot of stuff where I'm recording original music. And in that case, I will simply say that I let the song, kind of along the same lines, I let the song tell me what to do. And a big part of it, like you said, is lyrically. I've done a lot of work doing re-records for sync licensing. And so in that case, I have to be, I'm literally recording, I'm re-recording an exact replica of what was already recorded. And so what I do is I transcribe the song note perfect. I get if it's an older song and the tempo moved a little bit, I get a common BPM. I double check my chart, make sure that the transcription is good. And then I turn the song off and I just play with the common click of where I want to record it at or where the producer wants it recorded at. And I read down the chart so that when I go in, my intent is to do just that, to read this chart. I have the song going in my head, but I'm just going to read this chart with the metronomic pulse. And I play with the click as if it was one of the musicians in the band.
Yeah. Same.
I don't play to the click. I play with the click, if that makes sense. Like if I'm just, that's what it sounds like. But if I play with the click, like it's one of the guys in the band or one of the girls in the band, and you're just kind of cooking along, it's more musical and it gives it a breath, So that's why I do that.
I got something to add to the click playing with it. So playing with it to me describes you and the click are moving in the same direction at the same speed.
Yeah.
Playing to the click is more like pogo stick drumming, like oh, like it's this constant jarring thing that's happening. There's nothing smooth about it. So it's learning to flow at the same time with that click that you hear, and I do the same thing, Bart. To me, it's just like another instrument in the band.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's this guy
on stage going.
Yeah. And they have perfect time. That guy has the best time I've ever played with. Exactly.
Yeah.
So very cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that kind of wraps it up for today's show. Fred, thank you for being here.
Yeah, man.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Fred. Good show.
We knew that Rick wasn't going to be here, and I think Jeremy got a last minute gig or something like that. Hey, so next week, all you guys and gals that are watching, next week, you are not going to want to miss the show. You absolutely do not want to miss next week's show, especially all you metalheads out there, because next week is Christopher Williams, the drummer from Accept, the legendary band Accept. He's going to be on, and so we're really excited about having him on. And come on, Accept, those guys are legendary. Yeah. So it's going to be really cool to have Christopher on. So definitely tune in next week. I'm going to start promoting that here probably sometime today. And I want everybody to have a great week. Whatever it is that you do, go practice. I see the producer back there over your shoulder.
Yeah. Hey, Mary, give a wave.
Can she hear me?
Give a wave.
There she is. There she is. Because a minute ago, when you said the producer could be hard to work for, all of a sudden I heard her talking, and I thought she's going
around the corner.
Fred, no dinner for you tonight, Fred. Rock. All right, we're out of here. Chip, give us some drumming, baby.